You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
The wheel is turning and you can't slow down. You can't let go and you can't hold on. You can't go back.
Hello, welcome back into My Wheelhouse, our first edition of the new year. So happy new year. Welcome back to the show. We're doing good. Past the halfway mark in the season, depending on what team you look at. Celtics played 43 games, a couple teams not yet to 41, but overall basically at the halfway mark. Joining me in the new year, Uncle Mike and Sloan. What's going on, gentlemen? How was your turn of the year?
Oh, it's good. It's like we stopped doing things, but basketball keeps going.
That's
it was
right.
really active. I got an announcement. I got a Wheelhouse announcement. Yeah, it kind of hurts me to do this, but Deli's been suspended. From
Yes.
All Wheelhouse activities. Deli's been suspended.
He's bad.
For dirty play. And
Did you see him clothesline him? Clothesline Beal.
Well, you know, I tried to ignore the first. When he came back, the first day he came back,
Yeah.
he lines up for the jump ball, and he's elbowing right off the jump ball. And I go, okay, Deli's back. And then Calderon comes down for a jump shot, and when Calderon goes up for a jump shot, I saw it, but I didn't want to talk about it because I said maybe nobody else saw it. Deli sneaks his foot in underneath him.
Oh,
Sneaks his foot, and it was sneaky. He
Very,
snuck
very
his foot in
Grayson
there,
Allen
And
of it.
Calderon came down on it, and Calderon gave him the, and I'm going, oh, I can't really ignore that, but I hope nobody else brings it up. But then this clothesline takedown,
Oh, in the
20
worst,
feet away from the hoop.
He's so smug about it, and afterwards he tries to help him up like it was nothing.
At the rim, Kevin McHale.
So you're going to give Deli the chump of the week?
Huh?
Deli-
Yes.
he's the
Deli
chump.
chump?
He's not even on the table. He's not even on the table.
I do have a replacement.
A replacement,
And-
a new bobblehead.
Yes,
I'm very excited.
And you call him
It's like a
Wow.
Matt's favorite player.
We got a Jarrett Jack bobblehead.
Jared Jack.
And I'm really excited about Jared
On the Trailblazers,
Jack.
okay.
I'm excited about him.
Where does one find that bobblehead?
That looks old.
It is
It
well,
does.
Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah,
So
it's got some miles on it. Well, he's been very bad recently.
Oh, he's had a couple. Well, the team has him. I'm not putting it on him. He's had a couple pretty. I wouldn't say that. He's been pretty bad.
He's been playing in the clutch when
Yeah.
they should be putting in.
nice clutch hoop last
Frank.
night.
Yeah. Well,
He's getting his 10 points. He's putting his. It's not him. It's It's,
how was your New Year?
yeah.
It was good. We survived the Bombo Genesis. I
Yes.
hope everybody else
And
did.
you know, to
Everything
really
was
tell what
pretty
kind of
good.
basketball
a
freaks
lot,
we
a
are,
lot going on in basketball.
when you heard Bombo Genesis, what entered your mind right away?
Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba. I mean, we
Bamba,
are
yeah.
basketball freaks, huh? As soon as I heard that, it's a Mo Bamba, and that's all I called it the rest of the day. It's a Mo Bamba.
I think
Yep.
that's a stupid name anyway. So you can keep that on.
I can't.
Yeah.
5? I get credit for 6?
You got 6.
I got a lead.
There was only 5 games that we chose from. Everyone got
got
4 correct. Mike got all 5 out of 5 correct. So you got it.
I don't think we should even count that one.
We're going.
I
I wasn't going to count it unless I won, but
I had a limited amount of time, so I could only do that. But
Well, I'm just happy I
6.
finished 2017 with at least 2. At least I'm respectable.
Yep. All right. Whenever we're ready, you can spin the wheel away.
Let's do it.
yeah, let's get going on this. This is
Oh yeah. Well, we got some audible
got
wheels.
All right.
Ooh, that's a good one to start with.
It landed on trades.
Landed on trade?
Yeah.
Oh,
Look
it's
at the
like
wheel.
a
Look at the
versus
wheel.
Paul.
Oh, maybe we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
By the time that this episode comes out, we'll probably be right around the trade deadline. It's coming up in the beginning of February, so it's about a month out right now. What is it, the 8th today? January 8th? So I just wanted to gauge your guys' thoughts on maybe any potential trades. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN came out with an article. We all know how well tapped in he is. Discussing the players that names have been circulating around in terms of rumors. A lot has been going around about Mirotic with the Bulls. The Lakers are openly shopping Randall, Nance, and Clarkson. The Pistons are trying to acquire Evan Fournier, apparently, but it was unable to get too far. Not much legs under the deal because Reggie Jackson's hurt. The Grizzlies are shopping Tyreek.
That's a good one for the Celtics.
DeAndre Jordan's still getting shopped. Other players that might be available: Alec Burks, DeMar Carroll, Kent Bazemore, Bellinelli, Ilyasova.
Bazemore, I would like having him.
Yeah. So you guys get any thoughts on in terms of what we might see for the trade deadline? Any big deals, or just going to be kind of fringe work deals?
Well, usually you expect big deals, but then are unhappily dissatisfied, at the end because big things don't usually happen, especially mid-season. But I think DeAndre Jordan's probably still going to be in a lot of rumors. I think the Celtics, if they want to dangle a couple more picks out there, they might be in play for him, but probably not. There were other rumors involving the Celtics. Who was it that
Derek Favors.
Derek Favors. Yeah, I think that would be a good pickup for him.
Definitely a rebounder. My take on the Celtics right now is that I don't want them to give up that pick because the Lakers, it's coming too close for the Lakers. We're halfway through that season right now, and
I don't think they're trading that pick.
Well, I think that's what they would have to do to get Jordan. That's what they would have to do to get a big name,
I don't
right?
think we're in the running for any big names. So I think
No,
if we did a trade,
but
it would be a fringe
I
type
think
work
what I'm
with
saying
Derek
also
Favors.
is that if I was the
I'd be
Celtics, I
fine
would
with
stand
Favors.
pat right now because I think I like what they have. Marcus Morris is a wild card. He's got to play.
I think we should trade
but
him.
watching the college basketball that I watched this week, when you look at Mo Bamba and Ayton and and Bagley, if the Celtics ever, why would you even mess? That's be a great infusion on that team. I'd wait until that's sorted out before I made a move because it'd be nice to keep the continuity of the guys they got and the flow that they got going, and not to try to bring another guy in and fit it on top. Now that Rozier's playing better, Smart's playing better. I mean that could turn again. It's turned before.
Yep.
But I don't know whether I want to bring somebody in there that's going to take that playing time.
I do want them to use that injured player exception though.
Now, Shay, what's that with? It's going to be an expiring contract. Does that make it more difficult that you can only take an expiring contract?
It just limits the number of players that you can go
Yeah.
for. You know what I mean?
I mean, if they don't utilize the disabled player exception, I think that's a waste. A waste of a potential move, a way to get better.
Who do they get? I think they're going to get somebody down the end of it. How about O'Quinn from the Knicks? How do you like him?
He's got a nice
love
beard.
Kyle O'Quinn.
Rebounder.
He's a rebounder. He plays pretty decent
Yeah.
defense.
'Cause they gotta do
I'm
something.
worried about that perimeter and low post
Yeah.
defense right now, and I'm worried about their rebounding. I think they're falling under the same issues that they have had in the past.
I'd rather have more shot creation. I want more shooting off the bench. Rebounding has always been a problem to us, and it seems that
Tyreek Evans would give that.
yeah, but he's kind of branded himself this year as a shooter, but he's never been
Yeah.
that much of a. He's more of a playmaker than necessarily a shooter. And I kind of want someone that's going to be a 2-3 swing. It's funny. I mean, we see Gerald Green blowing up over
Unbelievable.
on Houston.
How
He's
did that
playing-
happen? It's like you just wouldn't even
it's-
consider. He played for us. We already know what he does
Those
for
are
us.
things you can't predict, and he's playing. He's playing.
27
I mean,
and
he's gonna
18.
have more games like that, but he's gonna fall back, and he's gonna go 1 for 8 in a couple games. But that's okay. But I think we need another player that can score off the bench because the problems we're still having is getting offense flowing when certain players aren't on the floor.
but
and
I
I think we have just maybe one more player who we could depend on to
If
hit
you
hit
got
shots.
Morris and Rozier
I don't
and
want more.
Smart,
I don't want. I
don't understand that. I still don't understand that. Well, why? Because he's injured or
he's getting in the way. It's at the
He
point.
is not.
Yes, he is.
Shay.
Yes, he is.
Shay,
If
you
you-
were going to continue to disagree about
need-
this.
okay,
I don't
so-
know why you don't see it. I don't understand.
in the most
I
recent-
don't know how
in the-
Sloan sees
in
it.
the game
Sloan said
against-
he kind of liked
I like-
Morris.
I
in the game
Morris.
against Minnesota, there were several possessions in a row in the third quarter where Tatum was starting to get a little streaky, where he had 2 or 3 drives to the hoop and 1-3 off a catch and shoot that he made. And then there was 3 plays in a row, 3 fast break transition opportunities he had in a row where he had the ball streak up the left side of the floor, and Marcus Morris comes over from the weak side for an ill-advised post-up on Karl Towns and was clogging the lane. And Tatum had to slow down and bring the ball back, and you see him calling for the ball. He passes it to him. He tries to do a move. He got blocked one time, and then the next time Tatum didn't even pass it to him. He is limiting the opportunities for one of our best young players to get another shot at the hoop. And that's the type of stuff he happens all the time. His IQ is so low.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
His IQ is low.
He's a tremendous defender. And
Not tremendous. I don't know about that. He's above average.
Low, he plays guard.
Above
he
average
plays
defender.
He's
Above average.
above average defender. I
Above
think he's
average
a real
defender.
good defender. He really digs in. Stevens really appreciates his game. You need
He's
that
one of the 5 best
influence of
defenders on
shooting
the
off the
Celtics,
bench.
for
He
sure.
shoots coming off the bench. He scores. He's had an injury. He's been out a lot. So when he comes in, sometimes his shot's not ready. But when he's ready to play, I think he's a real important. I said it all along. Continue to say it. We'll disagree.
We can go
I
back
hear
to
what
it.
you're saying, but your eyes is just watching him differently than my eyes are watching him. And I think
I like
he's
when he
doing
brings the-
exactly what he's being asked to do by Stevens. And he's coming in. He's looking to shoot.
I'll say the same thing I always say. I like what he brings on the defensive end, but I hate what he does on offense. He gets in the way, and when he does get the ball, he's a ball stopper black hole that is inefficient and takes the wrong shots. But back to what
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Okay, that's fine. Players that we could see moves. I think Mirotic is definitely going to get moved. He clearly has the highest value he's going to have right now, and they don't want him there.
I'd rather
It's
have a
clear
healthy
rift.
Morris than Mirotic.
Yeah, but I don't like Mirotic.
Okay.
Mirotic
He's
is
not saying he's going to end up with the
yeah,
Celtics.
but I don't. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think Mirotic's shooting would help us more than what Morris provides. I think that we have enough
I like the
defensive
toughness. I think the
versatility.
toughness is really important. I think the physicality that he brings to the court on the veteran toughness is good.
Toughness and
Morris.
confidence too. I think
plays
it's
a
good
lot
to
of
have his
confidence.
confidence
Plays with a
because
lot of
there's a lot of while you say
He made my
does,
list
like,
of irrationally confident.
It's he's.
I think he's a good
it's
shooter.
Good to have his
I think he's a good
confidence,
scorer.
though. He is a good player.
I don't know.
I think
He's certainly somebody
I
that thinks
think
he should be playing all the
drastically
time, that's for
underrated.
sure.
Do you think that the Lakers are going to get lucky and be able to pair the Deng contract or what's the other deal that they have on their books with either Randall, Nance, or Clarkson and ship them out of town?
Boy, if they ship Clarkson out of town, I'd be surprised because I think they need him with on ball, being in and out like he is. I think Clarkson's their best point guard.
They might be trying to free up some cap space. For
I think that's the biggest.
They're trying to.
The biggest mistake the Lakers has made is that they're wearing it on their sleeve that they're going to be doing something big next year, and
Yeah, I
that's
agree with
really
that.
limited
I
them
agree with
because everybody's focused on that. Whether it's the players and everything, they're all thinking it.
They're hanging them out to dry for sure.
Yeah,
and
Luke's not going to get fired because it doesn't matter if we lose all our games.
Right.
It's all for next year.
Well, it's interesting because when you're in a situation that gets a little bit tumultuous, if you have older veteran players, they maybe have been through that type of grind, and maybe they can handle it, and maybe mentally they're there. But they're hanging out these young players to dry, and for them to expect them to be able to persevere is a little bit. They might be asking too much, and I think they might need to be rehauling it completely for an identity to be able to withstand
you got a
this
volatile
year.
personality like Randall, who really looks like a decent player. What the heck is he thinking?
I want Randall. That's who I want. I think we could go for Randall. I don't think it would take much. I think that we could get Randall if we gave them Marcus Morris and a couple second-round draft picks. We could get Randall.
Why would they want Morris? Why would the Lakers want Marcus Morris?
Because they need shot creation. They need that type of player, and I mean he fits in. And he's a gritty player to help them. I mean right now their defense is what they're good at.
I want him so bad for the Celtics because I want him to prove you wrong, and I really think that if he's with them and we're going to run this out and we're going to play as good as we can play, that he's going to really pay off.
I like Morris, but not enough to keep me from trading for
Randall's better than Morris.
He plays a different game.
Yeah, but like he
doesn't play away from the hoop.
Plays a game that would improve the Celtics.
Right. But it's interesting because he's not necessarily a go-to scorer, but he's a gritty rebounder on both ends, and he fits in with Brad's identity of get a rebound and go. He can dribble in transition. He has enough of a passing ability at a big man that's going to make a difference with skills outside of his position. That adds enough to a team dynamic. I like what he gives, and I think that he is available at enough of a price.
I'd rather have Morris.
He's got the skills too. When he gets an offensive rebound, he can put it right back in too. Whereas many of the Celtics can't do that. Aaron Baines has been very frustrating because he gets a rebound and then either gets it swatted away or just loses it out of bounds. That's true. It's really frustrating.
What do you think about the Pistons trying to get Evan Fournier? Do you think they're starting to get nervous? They're maybe in hot water. They might not make the playoffs. They're dropping.
Because of Jackson might not be playing.
Well, Jackson's hurt, but it's more so just their team's falling back. Their team in the recent years have actually performed better with Ish Smith.
Was
than
Bradley
Jackson.
injured or was he out because of his scandal thing?
No, he was hurt. He was hurt. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the same injury that's been going on. I think he had a adductor injury.
Because this was weird timing over that, and I couldn't really figure out what
He's
it
back
was.
now.
We always kind of knew that the Pistons were going to drop off.
Right. But
I
think all of us called that.
They're strong at that position, really.
They're not strong in terms of shooters, though. I mean,
Bradley's a pretty decent shooter.
Yeah, but I think that them bringing this in, I mean, he would fit well with the absence of Reggie Jackson.
It seems like they were Celtics. I don't know what we'd have to give to get Fournier. You don't like Fournier though.
I just think he's ugly. I mean, his game is
the man bun.
Yeah,
physical or his game, or both.
Both. I mean, he's a good shooter and he would help the Celtics.
Did he make the top 10 list?
He would be fantastic off the bench, but I think his price is too high. I think Orlando values him too much, and I think with John Hammond there now, I think that they're going to hold him tight unless they can get something good, especially picks. And I don't want to give up picks, even if it's a couple second rounders for him, because I don't.
Well, spin it. We got a lot to talk about.
I agree.
Yeah, let's do it.
A lot to talk about. We're gonna
a lot of potential.
Wobbly.
All right, Jason Tatum versus Donovan Mitchell. So these two players were voted the Rookie of the Month for December. They both went off in the season. They're
Congratulations, Jason.
Phenomenally. People are starting to come back on Ben Simmons is a shoo-in as Rookie of the Year. I still have Ben Simmons as the clear pick, but if these guys continue to perform as well as they're performing, and affect winning the way that they're affecting winning, then maybe they can sneak into that conversation. Right now, Tatum is averaging very close to 50%, 80. His three-point shooting has dropped down to closer to 47 than to 50. Still phenomenal. He's averaging 14 and 5, gets a block and a steal a game. Donovan Mitchell isn't as great of a shooter. He's shooting 35 from 3, but his usage is much higher. His usage is 28% compared to Tatum's 18, but Mitchell's is averaging 19 points a game, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 assists. So I just wanted what you thought about. There's a lot of hoopla going around in terms of analysts and where these guys rank and who's the best in this draft class, because it's clear it's these two guys for the draft of 2017, which one is on top of it all. I still have Tatum, but that's probably just because of the bias, but I do think that there's reasons to attribute his effect on winning basketball and what he and what he
Talk
gives
about a
with
competent
versatility.
player. Mitchell is an amazingly competent
Yes.
player. He's got a great body. I like that dunk yesterday. What it was.
He has
on
countless
that.
dunks.
Really, the alley-oop one.
Oh, he's
That was a
the alley-oop
monster.
one. I
He's
mean,
going to be in the slam dunk contest.
you're actually
easily.
like by saying the alley-oop one, you're narrowing it down to like 7
Well,
dunks.
the recent one.
You're still not
Really?
narrowing it
Okay,
down.
but
Like
because
he
he's
does it
that
that
much
he
done.
does that many.
I still give Tatum. I give Tatum the edge, and I'm going to still continue to give Tatum the edge over Simmons. I think Simmons has flattened out, and he's real good, and everything's good about Simmons. But I think Tatum continues to show you new things.
Yes.
And what he's showing you right now is that the offenses around the league, and I don't see this unless it's told to me, but I guess they're blitzing Kyrie, so to speak. So Cleveland did it, Brooklyn, even before that, where they're trying to
can see
concentrate on
his
but
offensive
late
production dips.
game. There's no doubt who that goes to when they're blitzing Kyrie and who bails them out. It's
He's
Tatum.
been playing great.
Look at last game with that dunk and that three-point shot. I mean,
Huge.
he's got all the confidence in the world. That's big time. That's something that Simmons is not going to be doing, and neither is really Mitchell, not with the caliber of their team.
Well,
compared to the Celtics.
Mitchell has been making big plays down the
But the
stretch, and
caliber
he's
of
won
their
them
team, they're an
games.
under 500 team.
I mean, Mitchell single-handedly carried the Utah Jazz to a win over the Cleveland
But it's
Cavaliers.
different carrying
It is.
an under 500 team
It
than
is.
carrying a 33 and 10 team
It is.
in clutch time and giving Kyrie, because without him, Kyrie's got nowhere to. There's nowhere to go other than Kyrie.
Tatum-
Other than Tatum.
Yeah,
It
Tatum
would be Horford, really.
Yeah, Tatum right now is the second best offensive player on the Celtics.
I would agree, and I think that if Jason Tatum was playing on the Jazz or playing on the Sixers, he might be number 1
Right.
in Rookie of the Year.
Right.
If he was playing at this ability, I mean, I think a lot of the reason why he's doing so well is because of the system and because of the players around him. So it's, but I
Who, Tatum?
yeah, absolutely. I would put him a definite number 2 though.
Behind who, Simmons?
Behind Simmons.
Ben Simmons
yeah.
has he's been too effective on both ends. I mean, if you look at that team, if Embiid isn't in that game, he's that team's best player. And we can say what we want about Tatum, but he's not the best
Their
player.
record is bad without Embiid. You'll admit that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
without Embiid,
it's-
their record's bad.
It's true, but I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Tatum's not
who's he
the
gonna
second
pass
best
to?
player. Horford's better than Tatum. You know, like there's still a tier system. You wouldn't say Tatum's better than Horford.
No.
But Ben Simmons is the clear provider. If they have any chance of winning a game, if Embiid isn't playing, it's because Ben Simmons is carrying them there. And his contribution on both ends, before this recent surge defensively from Tatum, has been really impressive with Simmons because he was showing elite levels in terms of his defensive IQ that we didn't know was there. But now, recently, and something that you say, he continues to add things to his game, and you're beginning to see his recognition for how he needs to add certain things and what's important where, and a pattern recognition and certain things like that. His growth defensively, specifically patience-wise, has been remarkable. He had that 6-block game against the Nets.
How about the block shot on Harden? I love that. He blocks Harden's
blocks Harden
three-pointer.
shot. Yeah, and
Deep three-pointer was
now
blocked.
they're all timing. It's all timing based. If you watch his shot blocking ability, it's not athleticism that's jumping off the page and he's flying and swatting it. It's just waiting. He's staying grounded and he's watching the players just their habits and what they're going to do. And when they rise up, instead of an up fake, he doesn't play it on any up fakes.
I think he also demonstrates
just times it very well.
the value of length in the NBA right now.
I agree with that.
And when I look at the college players, that's why I'm leaning. Walton's in my brain, but I'm saying Mo Bamba. I love the length of Mo Bamba, and I see the same. And Tatum's got the same thing. Tatum's got the long arms that really come into play, and that's probably one of the biggest improvements in the Celtics is they're so long defensively compared to last. Look how they played Cleveland.
No, we played fantastic. I mean, we played okay, but I mean, if we just look at Tatum, Tatum's contributions, I think, are just more prevalent than Mitchell. I mean, Mitchell has been a lightning rod in terms of a highlight package. Donovan Mitchell probably has a top 10 highlight package in the entire league right now. And his ability to stretch the floor and be this modern player that is filthy, attacking the rim, drawing fouls, and being effective from the foul line. He's shooting like 85% from the foul line. But at the same time, he has range. He has a smooth jumper, and he's really dangerous from out there. And obviously, Tatum is there, but Mitchell has this ability as a creator and a different type of confidence about him. Where with Tatum, it's more reserved, and we're beginning to see it. We're beginning to see him come out with a little bit and be a little bit more aggressive.
I think
But
it's in
Mitchell
line
has
with
it
what
already.
Sloan said, you put Tatum on another team, you're not sure. You could put Mitchell on any team.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could put him on
I'm just
any
happy
team.
that it's become a race. In the beginning of the
Yeah, of
season,
course.
we all kind of unanimously said, there's no way Ben Simmons is not
beginning.
going to be.
I still think it's Ben Simmons, but now there's a chance.
There is a chance. And you have Donovan Mitchell leading all rookies in scoring.
Right.
That's
we'll
good.
get to it, but
you have Ben Simmons leading in assists and steals. He's actually number 2 in dunks.
Ben Simmons. Well, he
Yeah.
better be because he certainly
Right behind
he hasn't made his first
DeAndre.
3 of his
He
career
can't
yet.
shoot. Yeah, he can't shoot. But then you have Jason Tatum, who leads all rookies in three-point shooting, and then can drive to the hoop like a madman.
I mean, his dunk
as well.
over Karl Towns, and then afterwards winking. That's remarkable. I'm
It's
all
so
about
exciting.
it. Yeah.
And he loves winning too.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't love winning? But
His composure down the clutch is something that other rookies can't say that they necessarily have. And
Nice foul shooter too.
yes, and now both of these players have shown that they can power through this rookie wall that you look
I
around
think
the
the wall
league.
might be still coming for Tatum. I think this might still be
I
coming.
think we're 40.
Kuzma's still doing pretty awesome too.
He is.
But then
He sucks at defense.
I think that other guy's holding him back though.
Lonzo?
But the Lakers are 3-17 in the last 20.
Oh, God, that's good for the Celtics.
It's
though.
perfect for the Celtics. It's awesome.
What are they projected?
I'll
2 or 3
take Ball by
right
8
now?
and all
Right
Beasley.
now we're 2. This will be quick. LeVar Ball basically
speaking of the Devils.
talked more and more about Luke Walton being a bad job, and now he's saying that Luke Walton doesn't have the buy-in of his players, and he doesn't have the players on his side, and the players don't want to win for him. They don't want to play for him. Both Luke and Lonzo have responded. Lonzo basically says he put in a real tough spot. Lonzo says that I play for anybody. I'm just trying to play basketball. I'm just trying to win as many games as I can. And Luke Walton has said I could care less what they could say, what LeVar could say. What do you think about LeVar's effect on the
Aren't
Lakers?
we all
and what do you
used to
think about-
Lavar by now?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, come on, he's happened before.
Exactly.
He's doing this all the
We
time.
all knew this was going to happen. They knew if
effect.
they were drafting Lonzo, they were going to draft LeVar with him.
This is part of it. I think this is
No
part
effect.
of it.
I
it's
think
part of it.
Jeannie Buss eventually has to shut this all down and
Yeah.
be like, listen, if
I think it's just
he keeps
white
being
noise.
Exactly.
so audible and so aggressive, then they should just say, we're going to take your credentials away. We're going to take your
Well, I mean,
sideline
I think
seats.
that
away.
legitimizes them, and that gives them a more of a voice.
Oh
I
yeah,
would
then
just
it's going to
ignore
become
them.
some
I
sort
think
of
I think that's what needs to
First
happen.
Amendment thing.
Well,
and it's going to say, you're
I
stripping
know,
me
so
of
I
my
just ignore
voice.
them. Let him be.
I think ignoring him is
Let
definitely
Stephen
the way
A.
to go.
Smith take him on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's hurting their chances at building another dynasty, though, because people don't want to be part of that sideshow.
I don't think LeBron James cares about LeBron.
I don't think so.
LeVar's-
LeBron would be one of the only ones to tell him to shut up. Nobody is stepping up and telling him, listen, nobody cares
Look,
about you.
it's easy to
people
criticize
are
a
saying
team
that.
that's won 3 out of its last 20 games, and things are going on like that. I think that's the only effect it has is because they're playing so bad.
Right.
Other than that, when they were playing okay, that really was just
meant nothing. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
The
really,
thing
it's
about
not much more than that now.
2017, 2018 is negative publicity gets you a long way.
Right.
Lonzo's still top 10 in votes for the Western Conference for
Yep.
the All-Star game.
Right.
And why else would he be besides
Well,
being
he's
in
10-7
the news
and
all the
7, which are
time?
pretty damn good numbers. 10-7
that's
when
not
you,
All-Star
I know,
game,
but
especially
10-7 and
for a
7 are
rookie.
pretty
It's
strong
just
numbers for
because of
a
the
rookie
popular-
point guard.
ESPN helps the
What
cause
I think
a
they
lot.
should just
they
do is
play a lot.
I think they should instruct the players and team members that whenever they're asked a question about LeVar, they should just say no comment. I think that's a good way to do it. And I just
Yeah,
I don't
what
know.
about the Belichick way? Belichick would shut that down
Yeah,
immediately.
exactly. I think that's a
And
good
that's
way
why
to go about it.
ESPN hates Belichick.
All right, we'll spin that. Oh yeah. No, I wouldn't want to talk
No,
about that.
we're away from LeVar.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, enough of LeVar.
Kawhi lists.
Kawhi. I don't really want to talk about either one. Kawhi's hurt again. He hurt his shoulder. Apparently, it's not that big of a deal. Do you think it's a problem?
Why is it not that big of a deal?
Because they say he's going to play later this week.
Oh, really?
Which is crazy because I thought
So it's a partial tear?
A partial tear, but he's going to pay it.
I've had a torn rotator cuff.
Well, it was a big
torn rotator cuff.
Well, that's different.
You got no
I'll tell you
range of
what,
motion.
it was a big deal last night.
What?
Because their defense stunk at the end when McCollum drove down and had an easy teardrop.
Right.
They got the shooter's bounce, and then they lost by
to Portland
one.
without Damian Lillard. I mean, they're so interesting because there's going to be a fantastic team, top 4 seed, with or without Kawhi. And it was unfortunate because Kawhi was just starting to come back, and you saw in those last 2 games that he played, he really went off, and he was a defensive behemoth, and he was losing his mind out there. But we're going to have to wait another week or so for him to actually get back to MVP
One of the things
level.
we could wish for would be for San Antonio to take Golden State out for us. You know,
That would
so
be
that
nice.
when we beat Cleveland, we got San Antonio instead of Golden State.
Yeah, we could
and they're
take
not
that.
going to do that without Kawhi.
Right.
And maybe they'd have a shot with him.
LaMarcus Aldridge is playing out of his mind right now. He's definitely an all-star
I
again.
give Pop credit for that. And
All-star.
yeah, let's do All-Stars.
Move it to All-Star.
Oh, all-star?
Yeah.
All right, All-Stars. So voting was released last week. In the West, in the front court, we have KD, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, Draymond, Paul George, Kawhi, Melo, Karl Towns, Kyle Kuzma, Aldridge. In terms of voting, leading guards, we have Curry, Harden, Westbrook, Klay Thompson, Manu is 5th, CP3, Lillard, Lonzo, Devin Booker, and Jimmy Butler. And then in the East, they have leading, we have Giannis is actually leading all vote getters at that point. And then LeBron,
close.
Embiid, Porzingis, Love, Horford, Jason Tatum is 7th. Drummond, Cantor, Dwight, and then guards we have Kyrie, DeRozan, Oladipo, Ben Simmons, John Wall, Dwayne Wade, and Isaiah Thomas. So basically, what's your team? Who do you have on
Well,
your
my team, I'm not really, I wasn't really, I'm happy with whatever happens. I think the right players are surfacing, and I'm looking at my biggest, I think the biggest problem I got is the one that I think is the biggest slight is Jimmy Butler. What the heck is he doing as the 10th best? I think Jimmy Butler is starting to get into borderline MVP territory.
He should be in the
playing
discussion.
Great.
He should be in the discussion.
And he's not getting any votes. Was it because
Well,
he's
here's the
Minnesota
thing,
and the
though.
fans don't really know
You
him?
can't rely on the fans.
No,
okay,
the fans
that's why they do. I think it's like what, 50% fans,
25% media.
25%
Yeah,
media,
25%
25% players.
So
That's
it's going
only
to
for
be
starters.
Butler.
That's
Well,
only for starters.
if it was just the fans, then what's his name? Zaza Pachulia would be in every single year.
That's why they changed it. So
You got-
it only matters so much.
What are we in? 38 games in,
Right.
and Isaiah's played 2 games, and he's number 9.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, you expect
Doesn't mean
that.
much.
I think the nicest little battle, I think, is DeRozan, Oladipo, and George. That's a nice little tight little package there where, DeRozan's 7,000 votes ahead of Oladipo.
Jimmy Depot.
And that's for a starting spot. That's pretty cool. And George isn't that much far behind the two of them.
Right.
That'd be nice to see how that shakes out.
All right, so for my starters, I have Kyrie, Oladipo, LeBron, Giannis, and Embiid. And in the West, I have Harden, Westbrook, Durant, Boogie, and Anthony Davis.
Which is exactly how they voted. How they vote right now, right?
No, I think
don't know if it's
DeRozan has more
exact.
votes than Oladipo.
Oh, you pick Oladipo over DeRozan.
Yeah, he's better.
Yeah.
He's better at everything, I think.
52.
Yeah, I don't care.
You said
Yeah, a
that
couple
so
52s.
fast. I'm not sure if I have the same thing. But East, I've got. Are you doing East and West? Or?
East and West.
So East, I've got Kyrie,
Right.
Depot,
Right.
Home Depot.
Home Depot. That's one of our two good. Frankie Cigarettes and Home Depot are two great nicknames from the Wheelhouse.
Embiid.
Someone else said Home Depot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
Embiid, Giannis, LeBron.
you go.
Front court's easy.
Right.
And then West, Curry. This is so easy. Curry, James Harden.
I didn't start Curry.
Really? Who did you start on the West for
Russell
guards?
Westbrook.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's averaged a triple-double in December. Sorry.
Yeah, but Curry's team is
I saw you.
rolling
Curry,
like
but Curry's
always.
hurt.
The greatest shooter of all time. Curry's
is?
not hurt now.
He was hurt, though.
Yeah, but he came back. He came back
He
like
came
all
back
he
and he
did.
hit-
He came back like all he did is shoot for the last month.
He's an
He's
all-star.
taking a
He came
million
back
shots
and
a
scored
day.
38
He's shot
points.
on from the
He's
time
an
he walked on the
all-star.
court.
He's
He
an
was
all-star.
draining them. The first shot he took one.
Yeah, he's my
average.
starter.
He's phenomenal.
So
Yeah.
Curry, Harden, AD, Cousins, and LaMarcus Aldridge, I mentioned.
You started Aldridge
Aldridge
over
is way
Durant.
down.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
tough.
Kuzma's got more votes
Curry's
than
my
Aldridge.
starter for the
All right, on my bench, I have Ben Simmons, Porzingis, DeRozan, Horford, Beal, John Wall, and Jason Tatum in the East. And then
Wow,
on the West,
Tatum's going to make the All-Star team in
I
your game.
put him
be
over.
fun.
I put him over
be
Lowry
fun.
and Kevin Love. So it's between those three. And then
Kevin
on
Love's
the West,
having a great year, though.
the West, I put Steph Curry, Jokic, Lillard, Aldridge, Butler, Paul George, and Klay Thompson. snubbing Karl Towns.
Why is snubbing Karl Towns? Because
Defensively, he's just not there.
No, it's true. We're saying that all the time, though. But he seems to be showing some improvement there.
I think
and the team is definitely playing
Yeah, but
well.
I just think it's so obvious that Jimmy Butler is contributing so much more to their winning record, and I think that if anything, he's not necessarily taking away, but he's he's so obviously a second tier player.
Towns
on
is
that
one
team.
of the toughest guys in the league to play defensively.
Oh, I agree. He's the best low post player in the league. He's the best.
and
How
he
many
can shoot.
rebounds did he have against the Celtics?
22?
24?
22?
23?
Yeah.
20. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. He always kills.
He
the
was
Celtics.
on the verge of setting the
remember-
the
I
I
Boston
think he's
record.
a lock.
I mean, I want him to make it.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know if his contribution on both ends is going to be enough. I mean, he's going to have to get voted in by coaches.
What, 25 and 17 now? They're having a pretty decent
I think they're
season.
24 and 17.
24 and 17?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you know what I saw? I've been wanting to ask this question and get the answer to is why did the Celtics play more games? Like Philadelphia played 4. I'm saying, what's with that? Why would Philadelphia be playing less games? The Celtics requested that they get 4 days off and 4 days after of this London trip, and that's why they're playing more games. So it's not bad scheduling that got them. The Celtics got it themselves, right?
I mean, they could have put more games and afterwards. It was front-loaded.
Philadelphia's played 4 or 5 games less than the Celtics, and they're going to London too. I think it's all because the Celtics requested that they have 4 games off.
Yeah, but
days off and 4 days after
But
off.
they didn't request to play 43 games before the break.
Where else are the games going to go if they're going to give you 8 days off? 8 days off and 9. You got to put the games somewhere. That's where they put them.
They could have put them afterwards. Whatever.
Less back-to-backs in the second half. I don't think that's that big of a deal.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. Well, who do you got for reserves?
Yeah, I think the representatives for the Celtics are, again, going to be Kyrie. Well, I mean, going to be Al Horford and then Kyrie, of course, leading the East. But I guess if the Celtics had 5 more wins, I'd say Jason Tatum would be a lock. But
He'd be a lock for sure if they had 5 more wins.
I
just think that he's good enough, and he has much of an aura around him that coaches respect him. He's beginning to cause defenses to make adjustments for him. Like you can tell that they're focused on him. He gets doubles. He gets a lot of attention. No, Tatum.
Yeah.
I just chose him over Lowry and Kevin Love. Like you could definitely choose one of those other 2 guys, and they would be perfectly normal. I'm not saying Tatum at this point is better than either of those guys, but I think that he's just as deserving of an All-Star
he'd be
selection.
fun.
He's just as deserving of an All-Star selection.
Kristaps
The Warriors are
didn't-
going to get 3 players.
Kristaps is
He didn't make it last year?
I put him in.
No, he didn't. He has never made it.
How crazy is that?
Well, he wasn't that.
Well,
he wasn't that statistically.
You got a lot of
That's his
first,
goal
so
this
you got a
year
lot of
is-
first-time All-Stars this year, I
And
think.
he's 4th in the voting among big men. So he's going to make
I've been
it.
saying Depot all year is going to make it.
Home Depot for sure.
I read an interesting thing on Kristaps.
Unbelievable.
I thought was really maybe open
Let's
for
hear
a
it.
little discussion.
hear it.
Is that it was a scout, and I took his name was Tim Shea, and he's is an international scout for both the Knicks and for Charlotte.
Okay.
And his take on Porzingis is that no European player is ready mentally to accept the mantle of being a franchise player in the NBA. And the closest that any player has come is Dirk, and it took him many years before he can, and that Porzingis is wearing down more mentally than he is physically because the European game is such a team game.
Right.
And the American game, that they're coming up through AAU where there's always a franchise player all the way through where they're playing, and that he is wearing the burden right now of trying to be a franchise player. This guy, Tim Shea, says he will never be a franchise player. At best, he's going to be an all-star and a contributing to another frontline player similar to Pau Gasol. He says that's where he's going to be, and I think that's a pretty good take.
I mean, recently we've seen him make statements.
tired,
Yeah,
he goes.
exactly. He's made statements about
But he
how
said
it's
he's
affecting
tired
him.
mentally.
Right. That's weird. I don't know.
So
I mean, he
because-
still had a
and I
couple
think
of
he might- this
step
guy might
back
be onto something.
three-pointers from 25 feet.
I think he's a
mean,
superstar, and
I think he is, but I think
He's
that's a
just
good
too
take for
talented to
franchise
be
players.
reserved.
Well, he has a ceiling of a top 10 player in the league, and I think if you put up 2 more top 25 players in the league, whether he's the best player or not, he can carry a championship team.
He's already making Courtney Lee look like a top 30 player,
All right. Well,
which is pretty cool.
He's in a severe shooting slump.
yes, I agree. All right, let's spin this thing.
All right, what are we at?
I don't know. Might just be
I
choosing.
don't know how much we have left.
Yeah, just choose IT or Celtics. We can talk about both.
So we got to do Celtics.
Yeah. All right. So Boston Celtics 33-10, 6-0 since we have
Another streak.
Well, yeah, 6-0 since the last
many
time.
streaks.
And good victories.
Yeah, we beat Brooklyn twice, but with some nail-biting games. But we beat Charlotte. But then we took down Minnesota. We took down Cleveland. We took down Houston. Let's talk about the Houston game first. So we went down by
awesome.
26. I went out and met Dylan, who was on the show, and Matt, and a couple other cousins, Louie. And we went to a Shake Shack because we had to wait too long for reservations at a dinner place, and we were just completely devastated by the game in the first half. Oh my gosh, it was awful. They were playing so terrible, and everything was falling for Houston, and no calls were going our way, and there was 2 officials, and I was complaining about the 2 officials, and it was completely infuriating. And then in the second half, shots started to fall, shots started to not fall for Houston, and the officiating started to slightly favor us, coming back to the mean. And one of the best, I would say this is the best game of the year. I mean, the comeback versus the Warriors was something, but to come back versus 26, I know Chris Paul didn't play, but I mean, this is still a top-tier team.
Amazing game.
Still a top-tier
Amazing
team.
game. Oh, you know
Definitely
what?
an amazing game, but Houston stopped playing their game. They stopped driving with Harden. I know that's partly due to Marcus Smart stepping up defensively.
Not just Marcus Smart.
But
they
the Celtics could not guard Harden when he was penetrating. He was finding open people in the whole first half, and then all of a sudden they just stopped. He was hawking up a 30-footer when they're up by 5 points. It just didn't make sense.
Well, Tommy Heinsohn's take on that was that was one of the best things of the Celtics defensively is they pushed Harden's three-point shot out about 3 more feet so that his three-pointers were really deep. They were. They were deep ones. There's a lot I liked about it. The 2 refs was very interesting because I never really focused before on you need 3 refs, you need 2 refs, but obviously
Good Lord, you could notice it.
I mean, the calls at the end of the game were that it didn't
You could notice it not just because TNT pointed it out like 17 times.
Larkin got laid out at half court. Remember that? And then
they called a foul on him
and then
because he fell.
They tripped over him after he got laid out and fell down. They called a foul on him. I was
like
what's
them.
going on?
Oh, yeah, he was like clothesline there.
Brad almost seemed like he was getting a little bit like, oh my God, what's going on here? But he kept with it, and he kept saying, hit singles. Don't worry about anything else, but hit a single after a single. I think one of the interesting things about that game is the game that against the Cavs at foul, where everybody said, well, the Cavs were on the back of on back-to-backs.
Right.
The Celtics were on back-to-backs on that game against Houston.
Right.
They had just played Charlotte the game before. They came in 26 down, recovered, and won that game. Smart's plays at the end were
Fouls.
I don't care. They were
fouls.
They were
Those are fouls that everybody's going to
second
flop.
wasn't a foul.
If that's going to start getting called, then everybody's going to flop on inbounds at the end of the game.
Everyone already flops.
Yeah, but you're not going to
Why
watch
was
that
Harden
style of
pressing
play.
his way through? Why didn't the offense go over the top and get Harden in the open floor?
Exactly. Why even play with it? Why even mess around with
was
even the
Harden.
chance? Because exactly.
I mean,
Because
the old definition of insanity. They tried to do the same thing 2 times in a row,
Absolutely.
which was stupid. But I don't like that call. I think that's a
I love that call. You call a foul if it's a foul. I don't care that he has this
push him to the
MVP. The MVP
Superstars-
pedigree of him thinks that he shouldn't get this call because
Stars
of
push
who
off
he is.
before an inbounds.
A foul is a foul.
Kyle Draper's take on it is that, and I don't always agree with him, but anyways, his take on it was that Harden was playing hero ball the whole second half.
he was.
And that was really negative on Harden when you think of him as an MVP or whatever. Is that he was really
He plays the most hero ball out of all of the
Probably,
superstars.
Yes.
And I think Kyrie comes dangerously close to trying to play hero ball sometimes.
He knows when
but
to
then
delegate,
he pulls
though.
it back.
Yeah, he knows when to delegate and just step back a little bit. I don't know.
What I was upset about was with those 2 refs, we did get a lot of bad calls and a lot of blown calls, a lot of missed calls. I didn't like how Brad Stevens wasn't really stepping up and backing his players up that much.
Well,
to the point where
in the last minute of the
Marcus
game,
Morris
there was-
yelled out, and it was too late because then Stevens and Morris both got technicals. And then that's all of a
that
sudden
was
like
awful.
a 5-point swing.
That was awful. That was so stupid. That was one of the worst sections of the
the
game.
NBA
That was
came on. You
bad.
know how they review the last 2 minutes of
Stevens
games.
needs to
They had 6 calls
bark a
that
little
went the
more.
Celtics' way.
Yeah.
Down the stretch. So it wasn't like it was unbalanced there. The Celtics got a.
It was unbalanced through
Through
2.5 quarters.
For those 2 minutes. I mean, if you watch the rest of the game, I would say overall, if you had to measure on
When
a
is
bar chart,
Aaron Baines going to get a charging call called instead of a block on his play?
never.
I
always
wish he
jump
would.
straight
I
up.
think
They never call charges when you're up in the air. They always just let it play. And I think Baines, because of how frequently he uses verticality, I think he might be the best in the league at verticality. Like, that's the reason he's in the NBA.
Verticality doesn't help you.
He uses his body,
It
too.
doesn't help him.
Yes, it does. What do you mean?
He's always getting called for a block when he didn't do it.
That's not true.
I think he. I don't think he. I don't think he.
I think it's partly because he's slow and he uses his body
constantly
too.
getting plowed over and the foul's on Baines as he's laying on the floor.
I mean, if you watch, the verticality matters. I mean, in the game versus Brooklyn, in the end of the game, Spencer Dinwiddie drove, and that was a game-changing layup if he was there, but Ojale came out of nowhere, and that was one of the best examples of verticality that I've ever seen.
Ojale can play defense.
The Cavs game, I mean, I know IT didn't play.
Why?
Did you see IT
So
in the
stupid.
Did you see IT in the game before? I think it's justified. Do you think IT in the game
Terrible for
before?
ratings.
Did you watch the IT
Yes,
when he played?
I did.
What did you think of him?
Of IT?
Yeah, how did he play?
I think for the first game back, he was amazing.
I agree.
I got to watch him. I watched him again his second game. I think I got some question on his mobility with his hip.
I agree.
I'm seeing a little bit. I'm
He's
not
slow
sure,
still.
and it may be just because he's just back, but I'm seeing a little bit there on his hip.
Lagging
And I'm wondering,
almost.
like even in that first game he played, that drive to the hoop, the finish was like
Yes.
unbalanced
It was low.
a little bit
It was low.
and low
Yeah.
as opposed to what he's doing. So I'm a little worried about that, but I think he's amazing, and I think what he brings to that team, it's very exciting what we got.
So that was the
coming down.
first time all season that the Cavaliers have had a point guard that was plus 15.
Yeah.
All season.
Well, Calderon,
39 games in.
Calderon made a hoop in the following game, and it was the first hoop he made in 5 games.
Calderon's not going to play much
Calderon
anymore.
shouldn't be on a
I think
team
he's one of the ones.
That's who's
I
spot.
think he and Shumpert aren't going to see much
But
floor
what I
time
would
now.
say about Cleveland is that I think that right now the way they're set, what a second team, because I think Green's playing good, I think Korver's playing good, I think Wade's playing good, I think Tristan Thompson is playing good, and Kyrie
They're deep.
and Isaiah. That's quite a second five.
I mean, that's quite a second five for the next 10 games.
They all scored double figures in one game
IT starting
while we were
coming
away.
soon. So what I see
No,
with
he'll be moving in.
So what
but-
I,
IT for sure.
What I
That's
see
a
with
tough
IT
challenge.
is he still has that shiftiness, and you can tell he has the creativity
And he's got
with
the-
his footwork, but the explosiveness is not there yet. And I think it'll come back, and I think it'll work it back. And even if he doesn't, he's still a dynamic enough an
He
offensive
fits
player to
that
make a
team
difference.
really well, and I didn't know that before because it's such a relief from LeBron to have a guy out there that can do what Isaiah does, so that
With his
LeBron doesn't
handle,
have to
yeah.
do it every single
LeBron can
time.
play without the ball a little bit.
And something,
Yeah.
I know it's only a 2-game
Or on
sample.
the bench.
It's only a 2-game sample size, but something that I've seen in terms of just what percentage of his plays are used this way, his passing ability, especially with his offhand, was more prevalent. And his
He's a
ability,
good passer.
he was
He's
a good passer in Boston, but it was more something he fell back on. And in these games, he was passing just as often as
How
looking to
about the
create for
way him and
himself.
Crowder played together?
Crowder seemed rejuvenated
Oh
by the fact that
yeah,
Isaiah
the back
Thompson
door right
scored.
up the bat. The nice pass underneath. Another thing I noticed about Isaiah was the matchup seemed so weird with him. You hadn't seen a guy that small. He had matchups out there where he was playing a 6'7", and it really looked strange, and it really looked like, boy, they're going to be going there on him.
So it was interesting because I thought he did an okay job. And
Okay, but I'm just saying-
my thought process on him was always that he's
Visually, the matchups looked really, really strange. He was matched up. He wasn't playing the point guard a lot of times. Most of the time.
Intangibles wise, I think he's a good defender. It's just that he's so small that he's
Yeah.
awful. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if he was 4 inches taller, I think he'd be a great defender. I just think
Yeah.
he's not tall enough, so he gets bodied, and he's too small, so it doesn't matter. So if you watch him in the game where he was playing against, he got switched on. Shabazz Shabazz Napier. That's who he was guarding for the majority of that Portland game, and he was guarding CJ a little bit, and he did a good job on those guys. He was fighting around screens and staying in front of them and being bothersome. And I think that he's enough of a on defense that it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Why we're talking about, why don't we go right to IT versus Paul? I think
Yeah, of
that's
course.
a good segue.
What do you think about the whole thing? So IT recap. So IT didn't want the tribute video on the night that we first played on January 3rd because he wasn't going to play. I mean, it's
He's wrong.
Absolutely wrong.
So I understand why he wouldn't want it.
I don't.
It's okay, but
I don't.
I think that they should have. I think the fault is at the Celtics. I think it's the Celtics' fault because I think it's perfectly fine for him to request that the video not be on that game because it's understandable. If you listen to his explanation, it makes sense. He's saying,
It doesn't.
I'm not going to play. My family's not going to be here.
The family can go there.
Family's not going to be there. Since when does the family come to when they're going to put that's not
Always.
No way.
So-
the family comes when the player's returning back to his home court for the first time, and they're going to put a video on the jumbotron.
Yeah, but no,
the family
no, the
doesn't show
family-
up for that.
the family shows up when
show
they
up all the
play.
time. No.
It's his first active game back.
Their family didn't go to that game because he didn't play. It would have came if he played, and if they're there, then the tribute video makes more sense because it's more loving. It's
You
more,
don't get to
it's
pick when you're tribute.
All right, okay, exactly. Okay, so I think it's reasonable for him to be able to request it. But what the Celtics should have done is, okay, Isaiah, I understand, but if you want a tribute video, I'm sorry, we're going to have to put it on this night because the only other option we have is to put it on Paul Pierce night, and that's not something we're going to do, who's much longer and adored and tenured Celtic than you are.
I'm putting it
so
on
you
Cleveland.
can have it on there.
I'm putting it on Cleveland. And I'm
What?
saying, because I think Cleveland, LeBron James, IT all had to know that Paul Pierce's, that next time was going to be Paul Pierce's number going to the Raptors. And an IT for Paul Pierce should have said, I'm doing it on this day because Paul Pierce's number. And I'm not a Paul Pierce guy. And I think Paul Pierce is way offline on this too. And we can talk about that.
Exactly.
But I think that IT for Paul Pierce should have had that video shown, irregardless of his family being there, and the Celtics should have shown it anyways. It's only, they showed Jay Crowder's.
Hey, Jay Crowder had a little highlight clip. The whole thing about it is tribute videos are stupid. It is. Like, who cares?
What
I like
it's
is
a formality.
Put actual IT at the game on the Jumbotron, and everyone went crazy.
They still recognize
and that's what I
him.
like. I like that. And
He was there. The day happened anyways. All that didn't happen was the Jumbotron because they recognized him being there. They gave him the ovation.
Exactly.
He signaled the crowd. It all happened. Get it over with. There's no way it should be going forward, and it should not
Oh
be.
yeah, you don't want the tribute when we're gonna do it, then you don't have a tribute.
I think he's. I
Put
think
you on the Megatron.
But
you're
now
good.
get to Paul Pierce. I think Paul Pierce is
Wait.
way
I think he
out
should
of
get a
line.
tribute video conference finals. IT gets a tribute video in conference finals. We're gonna play him.
Well, yeah.
I think we get it. Okay, so Paul Pierce was on the jump with Rachel Nichols and said, like, I don't want to look up at the Jumbotron and see highlights of
On
Isaiah
my
on
night.
my night. So
It should have never been a thing for him to be asked
shouldn't have
to begin with.
I wish he was
it
a
makes
little.
him look like a
I
dink.
wish he was a little more humble about it. Yes, he needs to be a little more humble because
He's not humble.
I love Paul Pierce, and I love his contribution as
I
a
don't
Celtic.
love Paul Pierce.
And all time, I'm grateful for what he did. But without Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, he would not be considered an all-time great.
That's what I said.
He would just be a perennial all-star that was a great scorer and he would be a Celtic legend just because of the
He'd be number 2
longevity.
scorer all time.
Yeah, just because of the longevity of his play.
But he probably wouldn't have been a longevity either because he was out of town.
Maybe.
But I think he would admit that he wouldn't have a championship without
He
those
would.
two.
He would say that. But I just think that because of the championship and because of his ability to be able to perform in the clutch in the playoffs, because of those two and the pedestal that he was able to display his abilities on, it makes sense that he gets this type of an honor.
Yes.
And he should be having
Yes.
this night.
Yes.
And he should have a jersey retirement
Yes.
ceremony. Like he should have just as big of a deal as Kobe Bryant gets made, even though he's not a good player as all time as Kobe is. But I just think that for him, it shouldn't be that big of a deal for someone else to get a minute and a half of his 48 minutes of a night.
He should just
You know what I mean?
he should have just kept quiet.
Yeah,
And when he
exactly.
started going, the 18 years, all the time I
Yeah,
put for this
yeah.
team.
Oh.
And I'm going, yeah, of those
Oh.
18 years, there were 6 when you were an absolute juvenile, Paul Pierce, and that you hung out day in and day out with Antoine Walker, and that team was the pits, and you were a poor excuse for a Celtics for 6 years. You want to talk about all 18 years. But I think he should have just kept quiet and let it play out. I don't think he should have said, on my night, I do not want to see IT's tribute up there. But I
Rick
understand that,
Pitino
but
was a poor excuse of a leader for that team,
It was just
too.
unnecessarily it was.
It's 30 seconds, and
Yeah.
they should.
I mean,
don't know what they're gonna do.
anybody that wheels himself out in a wheelchair to the playing floor, obviously, is going to get their ego bruised a little bit when they're even thinking
I
about,
can understand it. And that's why I put it on Cleveland.
giving
and
up
IT,
any bit of the
IT
spotlight.
and Cleveland should have saw that coming, and they should have taken care of that beforehand.
Why wouldn't the Celtics just say, I'm sorry, IT, if you want a video, you're going to have it now because we don't know whether
Because
we're gonna play each other in
Cleveland,
the
they wouldn't
playoffs."
have had to say, they
is a story.
shouldn't have been forced to have to say that. Cleveland should have realized that Paul Pierce is having his number retired. Doesn't happen to too many players, other than Kobe. Who else? Oh, they just had the guy from Dallas, Hopper, had his number retired.
But it has nothing to do with Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't
But
have
it's
a
an
say in
event.
it.
Cleveland knows that event was happening. They would know that if LeBron's number was being retired, they wouldn't be doing it to somebody else on the same day. Cleveland should have known that. And
but
they should have not have made that request.
Cleveland didn't make the request. Isaiah made the request. Cleveland has nothing to do with it.
Well, then IT should have realized that. Or somebody, a LeBron, or Cleveland should have said to IT, you don't do that.
It was a battle of the egos.
I think
for sure.
I think
Yes.
all aspects was very stupid. I think it's very dumb. I think tribute videos
Yeah,
are
it's a
dumb.
cat fight.
I mean, it's silly, and I don't like the drama because I love Isaiah Thomas and I love
love
Paul
Isaiah
Pierce.
Thomas, too.
And it's tough, and I hate that they were pinned against one another. And I
They'll
hope
work
that
it out.
Two and
doesn't
a half
become a beef.
years, and
I hope
he's
it
like
doesn't become a
negotiating a hostage
Maybe IT
situation
will
with his
Paul's
tribute
number for
video.
the name of the game.
Oh, that would be fun. All right, so coming up, the
fun.
Celtics. We play 3 games from now until the 18th. So in the next 10 days, we play 3 games.
Good time off for them. They need it.
We're going to play the Sixers twice, with the Sixers in the London game. It's at 2 o'clock, which is pretty weird.
Oh, it's 5 hours later over
Yeah,
there.
I know. It's
Yeah,
just
Victoria.
well, yeah, but why don't they do it at 5? You know,
Then it's 10 p.m. over there.
yeah. So what?
They want to.
They're already jet
The
lagged.
purpose of the game is to make a statement in Europe and let. They're not going to come to a game at 10 o'clock.
They could. I don't know.
They will, but it's not. It's for
So
the
it's
fans
2
over
p.m.
there.
what day?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the week. It's,
Oh,
no,
like,
it's Thursday.
I think I get to watch it.
Thursday.
Thursday.
So
I get to watch it.
What is it? The upcoming stretch, we have a much lighter schedule. We got through the dog days of our schedule with a heavy 12 games and 19 days in December. Moving forward, we got a much lighter schedule moving forward in terms of just in terms of how saturated it is. But we do have some lofty opponents. We have a West road trip coming up, where it's at Lakers, at Clippers, at Warriors, at Nuggets. So that we could see some bumps
So Golden
there.
State.
Right. Win. But then we got a couple days off with the Knicks and the Hawks, but then we play the Blazers, Raptors, Wiz, Pacers, Cavs, all back to back to back to back.
I'm not buying into that
So
schedule.
that's
thing, Shay.
tough.
So
I
it could-
think
so it
look
could be
how
tough.
tough Brooklyn was for them. Brooklyn, I like Brooklyn, by the way.
Well, every game is tough for
That's what I
us.
mean. So when you look at that schedule, it's like there's no telling where they're going to get beat. They're still winning all the games by that much, you know.
Yeah. We're such an up and down team.
And that's how it's going to be all season for them. But they got 33 wins.
Yeah. On average, we've played 4.5 games more than the NBA.
So they can play
opponent.
under 500 and get 50
Now, are
wins
they
right
tied for the most wins in the league right now? Or
We
do they
have the most wins.
have
in
the
league.
most
They're the
wins?
best record in the league.
Alright.
And they're also
Well,
number
second
one,
best.
number one in defense again.
We are. Well, we never were lower than
We
number
dropped
2.
below
We were never
actually
lower than-
OKC and Golden State. We dropped below them.
Yeah, for
at
2
one
games,
point. I know.
whatever.
I know. It's a weird stat.
All right, back to medals. Let's see if we can dethrone Mike. We
Try.
got,
Try if you can.
Write the names down. And Sloan. All right, tonight we got Milwaukee at Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah, Oladipo's back. Home Depot. I'm picking him. They were so bad without Oladipo. It was pretty funny how big of a difference he makes.
Good. That's good. That's good for Oladipo.
I think I'll go Milwaukee there. Going against Home Depot. What am I thinking?
Cleveland at Minnesota.
Go with
Cleveland.
Minnesota. Cleveland's 5-5 last 10.
Yeah, they're good though. Who cares?
I think Minnesota's playing well.
Denver at Golden State.
Golden State.
I was the only one who picked Denver last time.
Sloan, you picking them over there? Or?
Yeah, Golden State.
I picked Golden State too.
Well, I haven't been on in a while.
Curry had 45 points.
One show.
I'm not fresh.
One show.
Curry had 45 points with like 6 minutes left in the third quarter.
He didn't even play the fourth quarter.
No.
Does he have like 10 three-pointers
He
in
didn't
the
even
past
play the fourth
3
quarter.
games?
Portland at OKC.
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 They're firing.
Dame has been missing a lot of random phantom games for like no reason. Utah at Washington.
Washington.
Washington's good at home.
I'd never pick Utah.
Portland at Houston.
I'll go Houston there.
Whatchamacallit? Chris Paul will probably. I mean,
I'll go with Houston.
Harden will be out.
Harden will be out.
Harden will be
Yeah, he's been out for a while. He's going to be out for a little while. He may be out for longer. than
Was
people
it
think.
another week?
Before they evaluate him.
Week
It's
and
one
a
of
half.
those.
I'll do Portland there.
I picked Portland as well. OKC at Minnesota. This has been a fun series so far this season.
Yeah, it has. It
Started
started
off
early
with-
in the season.
Yeah, with Wiggins banking in that game winner.
Yes.
It was very exciting.
Minnesota.
I pick OKC.
OKC. They're just
Boston Philly game.
playing the way they should be.
Philly is technically the home team. Who do you think will have
That's
more?
what they are. They are the home team.
Who do you think will have more fans at the game?
Boston. No doubt. No doubt.
We're international.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say
I got
Boston.
Celtics.
I pick the Celtics.
I don't pick against them.
Cleveland at Toronto.
Woo! That's a nice matchup. I really like. I still like Toronto.
I wonder if IT will play that one. I'll say Toronto.
I think he's going to play everything but back-to-backs right now.
Portland at Pelicans.
New Orleans.
See, Rondo had 25 assists.
Yeah, that's not many guys have ever had. Scott Skiles and only a couple
Pelicans.
of guys have ever had 25 assists. Scott Skiles had 30.
33.
33, okay.
That was a question on the game show last week.
Oh, it was? It was.
Golden State at Toronto, and then one more after that.
Toronto.
Golden State.
And last one, Portland at Minnesota.
Boy, I got Minnesota playing hot this week. I'll go with Minnesota again.
I'll go Minnesota on that one. I didn't give him much respect on the other games.
Also picking Minnesota.
I think we should give a shout out to Kelly Olynyk and the way he played coming
been
back in the
playing
Celtics.
good.
What a
That
great
game
year.
against the Celtics was awesome. Did you hear the little thing where he called Crowder and he told Crowder, he said, I'm playing in Boston tonight. You might want to watch that game. That's what Kelly Olynyk said to Crowder. He's
great.
And then he
love
texted
Kelly.
him afterwards and he said, I am so effing pumped.
Yeah.
He goes after
Kelly's
his
funny.
performance.
I'm a big
He was a
fan.
funny guy, yeah. He when they used to do their training camps in Newport, he was one of the party guys.
Oh,
and one time he rolled up in a truck, and then all these beers came out. And I was like, oh my God! Don't worry, we'll clean it up after you. But yeah, he's in the top 5 in 3-point percentage right now, which is
playing
pretty
great.
wild.
He's
And then
just
you know who's
right.
number 1 in 3-point percentage? Etuan Moore.
Which is crazy.
They
need him.
He
Two
got
former
my
Celtics.
list. So maybe we can do a list next week or whatever it is.
It could be. You want to tease your lists? Lists are
Surprise
up
players.
on the welcome to mywheelhouse.com. We got lists up, so we'll be posting more of those soon. We got surprise players from Mike and
Our biggest surprises so far.
biggest surprises so far.
Each
cool
one
names,
more.
cool
Each
names.
one more would be one of my biggest surprises.
Really? Okay. All right.
Definitely.
Well, signing off.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us at My Wheelhouse.
Happy New Year.
Until next time, Happy New Year, guys. Yeah, we didn't have time for lists. Whatever.